Bjarni to LINEA ROCK.
Yeah, thank you.
Is that the correct pronunciation of your name, Bjarni?
Yeah, sure, it's close enough. It kind of throws people who don't speak Icelandic very much off, so I'm pretty much happy with anything.
Okay, but in English or Italian would be Bjarni.
Yep.
So it's okay. Yeah. Okay, so that's okay. If I call you like that, it's fine.
Yeah.
All right, so welcome to LINEA ROCK. So Power Paladin is a new power metal combo from Iceland. Mm-hmm. Your debut album, With the Magic of Wind, Fire, Steel, got the burdens and the honor to be the first full-length release on the new label, Atomic Fire Records, which was founded, part of the Nuclear Blast solid and winning team.
Yeah.
So first off, do you feel it more as an extra excitement, or it gives you also some pressure to be the first band on that record label, a sort of fire and ice feeling? Do you maybe actually have mixed emotions about it?
I think we kind of generally had no idea what was happening. So we kind of didn't have any expectations, I think. It's like when Markus contacted us, I think it's been last summer or something, roughly. We had just we had finished the album like some months ago, and a mutual friend of ours heard the album and was like, "Hey, I know a guy. Can I send it to him?" And we said like, "Sure." It's like, "Who's that gonna be?" And then Markus just sends us an email and says like, "Hey guys, do you want to talk?" And we said like, "Sure, let's talk to this guy. We don't know who this guy is." And we just like have a casual talk about it, and he's interested in our album and releasing it, and like he's founding this new label and everything. And we was like, "Sure, this sounds great." Like our initial idea was just throw it on Spotify and like do nothing more and just go to something else. And it's like as we go further, we like start Googling and talking to people. It's like, oh, this is a huge deal. So we like in hindsight, we had no idea what we were stepping into, but it's been really fun. And all the people we've been working with, they're just so awesome. So it's been a huge pleasure to actually just be able to do all this stuff that we're doing, because this doesn't come like easy, or like a lot of people don't get this chance often, or like very seldom at least. So I think we're just hugely humbled that they wanted to release us at all.
Actually, the boss at Atomic Fire introduced Power Paladin as follows: fast guitars, earth-shaking drums, high-pitched vocals, and mystic storytelling. Is this exactly what you were aiming for and the perfect introduction for the band? What's your ace in the hole, your extra quality?
I don't know. I like our goal was basically just make music that we think is fun and we like it, and if people like it, that's great. Like, we're not making music for other people, we're making music for ourselves because we enjoy it. And I think that's always been like our focus point. It's that we're just gonna make music regardless of if people like it or not. Okay. So it just turns out that it looks like people actually like it. That's great. So and everything is it's kind of we're doing a lot of new stuff. Like, we had no idea there would be so many interviews regarding releasing an album. So that caught us completely by surprise that we had like 12 interviews every week, and we had like questionnaires that we needed to fill out. So there was a lot of extra work that we did not anticipate.
Yeah, but actually you live and formed in Iceland, as we said, which is a very special place to be, I guess. Dark and melancholic, place of infinite winters where you are like considered the midnight sun. How did, living in such a place influence your music and your attitude?
I think, like if you look at the scene here, there's like a lot of like heavier types of metal. Like the black metal scene here is quite big. Then we have like the stoner, the doom and the death, and all of those categories. But at the moment, I think we are, as far as I know, we are the only active power metal band in Iceland. There have been a few before us, but I think we are the only active one. So I don't know, it might be just some kind of escapism that we like write about, fairies and good weather and dragons and something hot. I think, and also just we happen to just love power metal, so that's something we want to write about. And yeah, it looks like there's not that many of us here, so.
Yeah, so it was difficult actually to form the band, since it's not the type of metal that is popular over there.
No, not necessarily, because it just happens that like the members of the band, we've all been friends for 10 plus years, so more or less. So it was basically just we could just go to a party and it's like, hey guy, you want to join the power metal band? And like how I joined the band is me and Krillili used to live together, and Atli was there and Kalle was there and Ingi was there, and they were talking about that they were forming this new power metal band, and I just asked, like, oh, do you need a drummer? And it was like, no, Kalle's gonna drum. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll just play the keyboards then. And I had never played keyboards before. Oh. So it was just, so I had to learn a brand new instrument just to be in this band. So it was really easy to form actually, because we just had to ask our friends who just also happen to love power metal, so.
Good. So it's 6 members in the band, and your approach to composing and recording sounds very rich and full of stuff. How long did it take to come up with these 9 songs, and which was the hardest part of the whole process and the long ride that actually brought you to the debut album?
Like the recording process itself took about 2 years because we did the recording ourselves. Me and Ingi, the guitar player, we both studied sound engineering, so we kind of had the know-how and the skill sets of how to record and all that stuff. And to be fair, it's like if we didn't have it, we would have never been able to make this album, because there are so many hours that we had to put into it, like all of the backing vocals. I don't even know how many tracks of backing vocals there are in this. I think like the audio project that like the mixing file for the project was like 500 audio tracks or something.
Wow.
Oh yeah. We just went completely overboard. So we would have to pay so much money for like studio recording time and all the stuff that we decided to put into the album. So it was actually a blessing that we had the skill sets we needed to be able to make the album like we wanted to, because it would have never, we would never been able to do it like this if we hadn't.
So you mean you started way before having a record deal to actually approach everything? Oh wow! So that
album was ready, had been done for was ready for like 3-4 months earlier. I think it was mastered and everything before we were contacted by Markus. So they basically just got a ready album.
Maybe for the second one you will have to be quicker, because you have less time. Well, let's see. Yeah. Okay, so the no-ballads approach is a deliberate choice that you had?
No, we just didn't have any ballads that we were interested in putting on the album. I think Yeah, it was not like a choice in a way. It kind of just happened. Like we didn't have anything that we were satisfied with that we wanted to use.
So you play keyboards even if you were a drummer in the very first place. But do you approach it more the classic way or being innovative, since you are pretty much a new keyboard player, let's say, in a band? The innovative approach as a musician is your goal. And which are your keyboards mentors?
Yeah, that's the funny thing. I kind of don't have any because I almost know no music theory or anything. So I know rhythmic theory, but I just do everything by ear. It's like, does this sound good?
Okay,
and that takes a lot of time.
And also gives you maybe more original approach and personal taste because you're doing it by yourself.
Yes and no. I think when you study something, you have just a greater resources to pull from. It's like if you learn flamenco and classical and metal and all those, you just have a greater pool of resources to pull from to create something from. I don't know any of that, so I just have to go with what comes to my head and try to figure out how I'm supposed to play it. And then that can be actually quite difficult sometimes. Like my head goes way further than my fingers go.
Okay.
So it's like creating all those orchestral sections and stuff for the album. There was I don't know how many hours went to it because I was doing everything of this stuff for the first time. So it was really demanding, and I've spent so many hours in front of the computer just picking in MIDI notes.
Sure. Do you have any keyboard player which is your favorite one in rock, or maybe also, I don't know, disco or whatever?
I think like the earliest one was what was it called? What it was called? I'm gonna say his name right because it was Jordan Rudess from Dream Theater.
Okay.
When I heard the Scenes from a Memory Part 2, that was like my, what do you want to call it? A keyboard crush? No. That kind of was the first time when like keyboards kind of blew me away.
Yeah.
That's many years ago. But I've always been interested in a way, it's like how keyboards are used in conjunction with guitars and how they can use to fill up space and all that stuff. But I think people in general think I'm a better keyboard player than I actually am. So if there anybody listening who's like, I can't do that, then the answer is definitely yes, you can. I did it. But you can
That's
do it all in the
point.
mix.
Okay, so Kraven The Hunter, your air guitar anthem, a track frequently aired via Iceland's radio stations prior to the album's release, peaking at #1 in the charts over there. It opens and sets the right tone for this 51 minutes venturesome ride of your debut album. Is this Kraven the Hunter like the alter ego of some of you? And why did you choose orange color for the single vinyl edition? Why orange?
It kind of went with the mood of the Kraven artwork. It's kind of this dark and flamey. So I think it's just more fun to have something that's not black, like everything else. So it was just do something that's like if you're a collector, it's probably nice to have something in a different color than always black. So it's probably just nice for those who collect singles. And regarding the Kraven, he's actually a Marvel villain, like in the Spider-Verse. Yeah. So and it kind of it was fitting for an opening to the album because it just starts with heavy drums and goes straight into it. Yeah. So it's probably a nice way to kick off an album.
Great, so let's take a listen to it. Bjarni, welcome back. Let's talk about the cover artwork now. How did, James Child translated the content of the record into the album cover artwork? Was it a team effort? I mean, you were like ox on his shoulder, or he had like complete freedom to get inspired by your music and your lyrics?
Atli actually found him on like a artist paid for hire website, and we were basically just browsing through like bunch of artists, and we kind of liked his way of just drawing, and we saw a bunch of his work that he'd done previously, and it kind of just hit right home with like how we felt about the music we were making. And he actually like finished the artwork like long before the actual album was finished.
Oh,
so
wow.
And actually, if you look at the small people that are walking in the picture of the album, like the initial idea for the album cover is he was gonna draw our faces onto characters, and we were supposed to be like those little people walking in the picture, and as the drawing procedure progressed, and we saw like how the album artwork was turning out, it was like, this is a terrible idea, let's not do this. And the solution to it was basically just have everyone's back turned away. So if you look very closely at the pictures, you can actually find resemblances of each band member in those pictures, and you can see Atli, because you can see the side of his face. He's actually the one who's sitting on the horse.
Okay. Oh, great.
So there are some like resemblances to us, but yeah, I think when Atli pitched the idea, he said just like castles, dragons, and swords, and he just went and drew something awesome.
So the singer is on the horse. Does that mean something?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
They just wanted a horse in the picture, I think.
All right. About the scene, what's the Reykjavík grapevine? And Fyre is actually the name of the studio you work in. The title is a sort of celebration to it. What's the story? I mean, is the metal scene, or actually the music scene in Reykjavík, actually gravitating around this place? Is there a scene there?
No, we are like there's no power metal scene in Iceland. We are currently, at least as far as I know, the only active power metal band in Iceland.
Sure,
and
no,
there
I
haven't
was saying
been,
metal scene, not just power metal. Okay, metal.
But the metal scene is there's a lot of black metal, stoner, death, and then these kind of more like cock rocky types. But yeah, it gravitates more to this, like the darker types of metal, the heavier ones with the growling. Those are probably more popular here than any of the other subgenres. So yeah, there's actually a quite active metal scene here. But like the power metal and the glam, that's probably almost non-existent here.
Okay.
So yeah, we were kind of the oddballs out, I think. And yeah, there haven't been, there prop up like power metal bands occasionally, and then they just died down. And yeah, we'll just have to see where we go. Yeah.
Okay. And what about the Reykjavík grapevine, and what's its connection to music?
Do you mean the newspaper or the?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what is it. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. The Reykjavík grapevine is like a. I think it's like a tourist aimed newspaper that like basically talks about stuff that's happening in Reykjavík, and it's probably pretty nice if you're coming here for like a week or something. And then you can just read about stuff that's happening and shows you want to go to, and something interesting that is happening somewhere. So it's like a quick guide to stuff you can do while you're there.
Okay.
And they did an article about us at some point they were. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it's way before the album came out, and it was just because I think they saw us at a gig or something, and wanted to do a small interview about us.
Okay. How is a normal day in life, for Power Paladin during the long, dark winter?
Yeah, we just work like everyone else. Yeah. Me and Atli actually work together. We're both software developers and Krilli actually too. So there's a lot of software developing going on in this band. So yeah, we just work 9 to 5 and then we go do something. Go home and wait out the cold weather. Then just go to her rehearsals and stuff. It's kind of complicated now with the COVID stuff. You can't go do fun shit, but we'll get there eventually. I think everything's weird. So
is the plan actually to live, to make a living being a musician, or you prefer to keep the job on one side and the passion on the other?
Yeah, I think we'll definitely go with like the 9 to 5 jobs, because I think we all agree on like this is supposed to be way fun. So like if you I'm really lucky that I actually have a job that I enjoy very much, but it can tend to become very tedious at points, and I don't want music to become tedious. So I think we'll definitely go with the 9 to 5 and then the fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite track on the record right now? And did it change? I mean, through the process, it was 2 years, so a long one.
I think it's definitely, there can be only one, I think, because it was, I think that was the song, or Into the Forbidden Forest, because I think it's a kind of, I think it's kind of 50-50 between those songs, because that was those songs kind of made me realize that I can actually write music, because I had this grand idea of having like these super orchestral choruses and choirs and everything, and I had never done it before, but I just wanted to do it. And then I had to put insane amount of work into manifesting it, making it a reality. And once I was done, it was kind of like an epiphany. It was like, holy shit, I can do this, because I had no clue if I could actually do something like this. So it was really gratifying when it was done, that like when you have this realization that you can actually do stuff that you thought you couldn't do. I haven't heard any complaints yet about it. So I probably did something right, at least.
So the two you're mentioning are the last two songs of the track list. Are also the last two songs that actually you composed and recorded, or it just happened that they are, at the end of the record?
Yes. I think they were probably one of the last to be finalized. We had like record most of the albums. How we did it was like we created the drums and the bass and the guitars, like laid foundations for all tracks.
Yeah.
And then we started recording the singing, and I just went home and started writing down orchestral parts for all the songs. And then we just started adding layers and layers and layers of backing vocals on top of everything. And then came the, sugarcoating all the guitar licks and all that stuff. So it was kind of in the end, it was quite a mess because there were so many songs going on at the same time.
So you have a big passion for fantasy games and books. It doesn't remain unnoticed. Is there any title we should approach before or during the listening of your debut album to maybe catch, some colors better?
I think the Way of Kings song is actually like very loosely based around the book Way of Kings. Okay. But like that's a big book to read just to listen to one song. So don't do it if you don't want to do it. But no, it's like just watch Lord of the Rings or something. You get the gist of it. But yeah, it's just fantasy based, and I wouldn't read too much into it. It's like if you enjoy it, then you enjoy it.
Okay.
If you don't, that's fine too. Just listen to something else.
Is touring some way in the plans, or being from Iceland makes it, twice as hard nowadays with the pandemic to plan some? And what can we expect from a Power Paladin live show?
We'll definitely kind of try to do some gigs abroad. It's kind of hard at the moment, both because of the pandemic and we all have like small children, at least most of us. So it's like family and work and, and releasing a album with a label and all that. And like, yeah, if it would probably been a bit more complicated if COVID wasn't around, because then we would be planning shows and stuff. But we've gotten some inquiries about playing abroad already for 2023. So, but yeah, we haven't kind of managed to wrap our heads around this. We kind of need a bit more guidance about how to go about this, and we have actually a really good person who's gonna work on that with us. So at the moment we kind of can't give a definitive answer about it because we kind of don't know ourselves. So
okay, I see. Okay, so now we're going to close the interview with the Creatures of the Night animated video, which is the result of a very special collaboration with Simon Norton and RMIT University students. Can you tell us more about it and introduce the video for us?
Yeah, it kind of came out just out of nowhere, like most of the stuff we've been doing. Markus basically sent us an email and said, like, this university from Australia wants to create an animated version of your video. It was like, why the hell? Because there was a lot of bands to pick from. So it was like, our initial idea was like, why us? And I think it was just something to do with like the lyrics. They're probably kind of descriptive. There's something mean going on, and it's maybe just a fun lyrics to animate around. So we said, because we had joked about making an animated video for one of our songs, but we have like a really tiny idea of how much work goes into actually creating an animated version. So it's like, that's never going to happen, not a chance in hell. And then this university comes and says like, we want to do it, and and we're gonna do it. So it was like, oh, okay, nice. Okay. And like, it turned out so good. We were so happy with it because we basically just sent them like a rough idea of what the lyrics are about, and it's like a very loose story about what could happen in the video, and says like, this is just an idea. You can just do whatever you want. And then they just went completely overboard with this video. So we're really happy with the results, and so eternally grateful for because these are like 3-4 months of work or something that goes into this.
Wow, brilliant. So let's watch it. Thanks, Bjarni, for your time and for this interview. Hope to meet you in person very soon. And the best of luck for Power Paladin and everything else.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Bye-bye.
Ciao, grazie. Thank you very much. Ciao.